Hey, what's up? It's 9:20 on March 2nd. So there's gonna be first of all, there's gonna be some Democratic primaries, I think tomorrow. It was either today or it's gonna be tomorrow, whatever. I paid my rent today, which means I had to walk, which means I'm tired. And apparently Trump started a war on Iran on the 28th. So I didn't know that until like today, like 4 or 5 hours ago. So I've been catching up on that. And so I've just been thinking over the last 20 minutes that it's just like, man, these old people and these old people from Trump's generation really is from their generation. They really think in a certain mindset. They think they think in the Vietnam and Cold War era of um, like superpowers and nation states and all of that kind of thing. And like you have to have control in order to like survive and all that stuff. And especially Trump, he like he and all the people around him this is my like analysis and stuff. They I think like they see everything around them and they like are like, oh, America and the West is like the dominance is waning because basically we are having to share more of the world and more of everything with the rest of the world, with China, with Japan, with Australia, with the Middle East, with Africa, and more even with Central and South America. And that just that kicks off this kind of instinctual fear and resentment and like natural like reaction of defensiveness and need to react with like a counterpunch kind of instinct. And that means we need to start doing what he's been doing with. In this video I'm watching, there's this guy breaking down all this. Well, it's Young Don Reacts, but he's reacting to this guy, Ben Norton, breaking down all this stuff, like why Trump attacked Venezuela and now Trump is attacking Iran to cut off oil that's going to China to so that Trump is kind of systematically attacking energy that goes to China to weaken China's energy inputs to weaken China's economy. So he's kind of like trying to do that, even though knowing that the thing on Iran will also weaken the energy inputs to America and the West. It kind of does both things, but it's kind of hoping that it hurts China more than it hurts us. And if we end up controlling Iran in the long run, we can then divert that oil energy. But he's dumb and he doesn't know that China makes all the solar panels, so they're going to be able to switch over much faster. Even though the U.S. does make solar panels and wind and everything, it just, we can't manufacture at the speed that they can manufacture. We can't switch over as fast. But, like I said, he's old. He's a dinosaur and he doesn't see the big picture. Because he's a dinosaur and he's about to die anyway, so what does it matter to him? In my view, and I think people of my generation and the younger generations are much more able to understand that, barring something like a nuclear apocalypse or a meteor or the runaway devastation and extinction level event of like global warming and that sort of thing, the whole viewing the world as a collection of individual nation states and empires and that sort of thing. It is much more intelligently looked at as what it is, which is a system, a collective system today, because that's just what it is, a global system. And not, this group of white people and this group of brown people and this group of Asian people and blah, 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 because that's how Trump sees it, because, again, he's a dinosaur. And that's how he was taught to see it by his daddy. And so my generation, and again, the generations that are younger than me, again, not all of them, not all of us, but more so and increasingly more so, are able to see everyone as not Americans or British or South Africans, Australians, Chinese, Japanese, you get the point, but as humans, inching more and more towards just people on a global stage, getting closer and closer towards being a unified world. I mean, I already know this, that, soon we are going to have to have a formal world government. I mean, it seems obvious to me, and I can't be the only one that understands this. We're going to have a formal world government with all of the normal things that any government has. And I don't know why I would have to list all that out, but, you're going to have that. All of the normal things. An additional layer of formal government that any other kind of government would need to have. And it's probably going to be some kind of democratic or representative government. And I think the young generation understands that more than the old generation, 60, 65 age of, you know, and above, uh, instinctively knows and is willing to accept. And we just, people of my age and younger just kind of need to just, hold on to the ball and wait for the clock to run out. And they'll die. And then we'll be able to have a world that is much more peaceful. And Trump is a great example of this. He just starts a war that doesn't need to exist. And hopefully this next round of elections that's going to happen is going to put a buttload of pressure on him. I also think he started this war as in the hope that the war will last long enough to allow him to have a pretext for pulling some shenanigans for the election. I don't know what that pretext will be, but some sort of pretext for either ranging from completely not holding an election, a midterm election, at all, or doing some kind of bullshit which will allow Republicans to hold on to more seats than they otherwise would have been able to hold on to, or gain even more seats in the House and in the Senate than they would have been able to hold on to if it was just your run-of-the-mill midterm. So, and I think a lot of people are abundantly aware of this. So now whether all of that is true or not remains to be seen. I guess we'll find out, because it's March now. So, that's 7 months away. And on top of all that, a lot of people are saying this thing is going to go not super smooth. So if this goes not super smooth, that's going to be really bad for him. And if Republicans stay on his side, that's going to go even worse for those Republicans that are in office. So I don't know. And if they keep mismanaging the ICE thing, I don't know how that helps them. So, Trump seems to be island hopping from one debacle to another. So it's really hard to imagine him having some sort of plan, or having some sort of to not being a complete buffoon at this point. Sometimes I'm willing to be like, I don't know, maybe this guy is doing something behind the scenes. He's got something kind of cooking, he's trying to He's trying to play some kind of weird long game, but it's just every time I think like maybe he's got something going. I don't know, but all the evidence to date is like this guy is a walking catastrophe, and it's just like one thing to the next. I mean, a year and 2 months in, a year and a month plus in, and it's just one shitstorm after the next. So I can't imagine that this guy's going to pull out a win. I mean, he would have to pull out some amazing shit in order to turn this around for the Republican Party at this point, I would think. Anyways, that's what I got right now. I'm gonna watch this video to the end. Hold on, be right back. That video was messed up. Ends with former leader of Al Qaeda is now the leader of Syria and was invited to the White House to talk with Trump and stuff. So that was that. So whatever. Tax rich people, kneecap rich people, and boobs. Peace out.